Big things are about to happen. What's good, guys? I Just Squad here. Welcome back to The People Respond, my original documentary series. And we are officially starting episode 3. So it's gonna be either a one or a two-parter. Still not totally sure yet. Hopefully get it in a one-parter, even if it's like an hour long, because honestly, that is a little more appropriate for this. We're switching it up a little bit. This is the first official in-person episode that I've shot. The last two we had to do virtual due to COVID and restrictions of getting inside the school and everything. But now that that is all gone away, we are officially able to do it in the classroom with Milky. So yeah, he's my co-host once again. So yeah. But I don't think I really have much else to say. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
Yes, I experienced it in ways like I would see cops and they would look at me funny, or like me and my friends would just be doing stuff and they would come over and try to talk to us. There would be teachers even that were racist but probably didn't even think what they were doing was racist. And just like, I also haven't had anyone like come up to me and call me any slurs or anything, but I think it's mainly because of intimidation, and I think that's where racism also stems from.
Absolutely. Can you give any examples of what would teachers do where they didn't realize what they were doing?
There was actually an incident in my English class where one of the teachers just assumed that one of the kids were hood smart, and that kind of took everyone off their feet.
No, but it's changing a lot. I'm from Afghanistan. I was living there, but I'm Africa. I'm in the Afghanistan, and American is not same thing. The Afghanistan people is Muslim and American is not, and you have to hijab there, and here is don't care about that. If you have a hijab, it is different thing.
Yeah, I have, but most of the racism that I've experienced is real subtle, maybe microaggressions, maybe people looking at you the wrong way, people making it known that you're not wanted in a certain place or area. It's happened.
I've definitely experienced a lot of racism in my life. I grew up on the South Side, which means there was a lot of violence, a lot of criminals, just a lot of things going on. But there's definitely little corner stores, people always patrolling me, making around, watching me as I'm shopping. Even going to a Target or Macy's, people always following me around. Or just in general with the police, they always patrol in the neighborhood they don't even know nothing about, but they always used to follow me around. If they seen me, they always used to slow down, try to talk to me, make sure I was going where I was going. Just little stuff like that, just kind of stupid.
Me personally, no, but I've seen it to my peers. I've seen it around me.
Can you give any examples or anything?
Going to grocery stores. I'm a white dude, my black friends going to the store, they looked at the black dudes instead of me. And they focus mainly on my group of friends over on the one side store instead of me. And that just shows.
It was more microaggressions. When during the summertime, especially, I like to wear my hair out because I normally keep it pulled back for temperature reasons, because I die when it's underneath. And so a lot of people ask, can I touch your hair? I get excluded out of a lot of things. There was this incident when I was younger that I was excluded from a performance because I love performing, I love singing and acting. I didn't know it at the time, but it was because I'm partially black.
Yes, I have experienced racism, from colorism to featureism to just, being stereotyped and racially profiled, some people will call it. But that's the most racism I've experienced. Like, I've never experienced anyone like directly calling me any slurs or anything, but I have definitely experienced many different types of racism.
Yes. I've been called out of my name a couple times. I mean, I feel like that's for every black person in, yeah, I mean, in the world has been called, I mean, that word at least once. You know, sideways looks, feeling like you're not welcome where we're in certain places, even though, you know, we're supposed to be past that. You know, regular stuff. Nothing like too traumatic, nothing like newsworthy, but like everyday type time.
There's only one time that I think I experienced racism, although I don't know if it was directly due to racism. It just really felt like it was. Like, it felt like my teacher was picking on me because of my race. Although I can't obviously 100% confirm it, but it just felt odd. You know, I was in a class full of only white students, and everything I did, he picked on every little thing that I did and got me in trouble. And I didn't know what else it was because every other teacher loved me, so I was like, if it's like, what am I doing wrong? It just felt like it was because of my race, but I can't really confirm it.
I mean, that definitely feels like it, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. If you take a look at Wilkins, Homewood, the Hill, the city is literally built up around these neighborhoods.
To a point, yes. It's nothing bad, but like Larmer is mainly African American, but like my neighborhood, Morningside, is majority white. Is it like on purpose? No, I don't think so. But I think it's just more of like.
But it does happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I live in between Homewood and Point Breeze, and there's a visible difference between how Homewood is and Point Breeze is, like just the houses and the people too. Like Homewood's mainly black and colored people, and then Point Breeze I'm only seeing like Caucasian people and like, I don't want to say whitewashed, but whitewashed people too.
Yeah. That one especially, like, that's such a good example, too, because it's like there is literally one street that just, like, separates, and it's such an obvious divide, too. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's what the city's built on. Like, when people talk about certain neighborhoods, they know which certain people with certain groups go there and which certain people don't go there. Like, if somebody was to try to be somebody's friend in school, they ask them where they from first. Of course. But then you got the colonizers coming in, and then you want them, what is that called when they... Gentrification. Gentrification is a real thing. I see it happening. People be walking dogs in my neighborhood. The white folks, they be walking dogs. I be like, bro, you ain't. Yeah, I'd be so confused, but gentrification is a real thing, and I don't know if it's helping the community or not yet, but they're just coming in and changing stuff, making it more expensive and making the unfortunate be more unfortunate. And the fortunate people just be, you know?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate truth.
I definitely think Pittsburgh neighborhoods are segregated. They kind of changed differently from when I was a kid, but definitely as a kid, they were bad. You know, rich, poor neighborhoods, those are completely different. They're always like that, always. But now they've migrated more white people into the neighborhoods, but yeah, neighborhoods definitely are segregated, even by like gang affiliation or just race, age. There's definitely separated neighborhoods.
I haven't been here that long, but I definitely notice when people talk about, you know, being in rich neighborhoods or white neighborhoods. I feel like that's done a lot here. But yeah, I don't really know anything about the neighborhoods really, but I've heard that a lot.
What neighborhood do you live in?
I live on Hazelwood, so some people say like that's like in between or whatever. I don't know really, but The only black people I've seen on my street are the people who live in my house.
One. That's it. Only one.
I've had a couple, but I've definitely had more white male and female teachers.
Yeah. Do you remember what they taught by any chance?
In elementary school at Sunnyside, like 3rd grade, I had Miss Jackson. And then, funny enough, now I have Miss Jackson again. But then I believe that's really it.
I had two. Both women. Strong, black, powerful women. Period.
I've had a lot of black substitutes, but I've only had 2 teachers, one in elementary school and one in Schiller, my middle school.
Do you remember what they taught by chance?
One taught math, that was my elementary school. My middle school was in 8th grade. She taught English.
Yeah, but I've only had 2. Middle school, Mr. Mitchell, he was ironically a Spanish teacher. You don't see a lot of black teachers in Pittsburgh public schools. And then also Miss Jackson, my black teacher. She teaches a gym class, which I think is pretty correlation with that. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of black teachers as a kid.
I've only had one. I've only had one that I clearly remember. And I don't even think she was a teacher. Actually, I think every time I see a black teacher, it's more of a substitute, not really a teacher. I've never had a black teacher, which is very sad.
I've had one. I'm a senior in high school. One black teacher my entire life.
Yeah, last year, and she was a really good teacher. I love her. I forgot her name. I think Jackson or something. She is health teachers. She's best teacher.
Yes, I've had 3 black teachers throughout my whole entire time through school. So yeah.
Do you remember what they taught?
Yes. One taught math. Another one also taught math, and then one was gym.
I have, and I think those teachers were probably my best teachers, to be honest. And not just because they can relate to how I talk and like how I was raised, but also they don't see me any differently than they would do any other students either.
Racism in older days. Again, nothing too hectic, but definitely like subtle microaggressions.
I definitely feel like I have. Since I was a black kid with CAS and AP classes, definitely majority white kids in all my classes. And, the black thing, wearing braids or just having certain cultural outfits or jewelry, stuff like that. I get just, oh, she's black, maybe she's not as smart as us, or, she's black, she doesn't have that many things at home that we do, like calculators or computers and iPads and stupid tech stuff like that. But I wouldn't say it's that bad, but there's definitely ways of racism.
No, not that I'm aware of. You know what I'm saying? If there's any comments people say towards me, I usually don't listen, you know what I'm saying, or pay too much attention. So, as I'm aware, no.
I haven't experienced racism. Like there's things that have happened that I'm like, it's kind of suspicious, but nothing big and serious.
Have you seen it at all? Like happening to other people? Sometimes,
yeah, sometimes.
I can't say I have, but I could imagine myself just being blinded to it, not actually realizing it.
Yeah, I mean they was never bold enough to say nothing, but yeah, you see the sideways glances, the little up and downs, the little. I mean, because one day you wear your hair out, one day you wear long braids. I mean, it's just they're curious, but they do it in the wrong ways.
It's not common. It's actually quite rare, but 1 to 9th grade, I don't remember exactly who it was or what happened, but I went to join a club. I forgot, it was a different name, it was a different time then, but this was 2019, 2020, and so I was specifically told no because I was black.
No, there was in history class, we went over the slave trade once for a day, and that was it. I can't say as the whole of Pittsburgh public schools. I mean, I've been to other schools, and they've never really touched upon African American history that much, just the simple, racism happened, slavery happened, that was bad, it's over now type stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I think AllttA is doing fine as far as I can see, but I can't answer for the whole of Pittsburgh public schools.
In some ways, yes, but in other ways, no. I feel.
Can you expand on that a little more?
In some ways, they do teach it, as in it's putting a course out there for African American history, and we do go over some topics some days, but that's really it. It's not like in our curriculum. But I feel like the school system does lack in history. They'll teach more of science and math and reading, but I think history and social studies is lacking.
I didn't have any English African American class, but it is my first year, but I like it. But I think it is enough, really.
Not at all. I think African American history is American history, and you don't need to have a designated class like African American literature or African American history class just to say that, hey, black people exist. Like, it don't make sense to me.
No, and I don't feel like they know how to either. So I think a solution to that would be like to get more black people in the Pittsburgh public schools, like headquarters or company or whatever y'all want to call it, back in the office, to actually give them an actual plan. Because, and I'm gonna repeat this, because like Catherine said, I don't feel like there should be a different class for it. It should just be in the curriculum. It shouldn't have to be a whole separate thing. It shouldn't have to be an elective. It shouldn't have to be something you choose to do. It's a part of history, and it's a big part of history. So they're not doing enough, but I don't feel like they know how to. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I think Mr. Milky does enough to teach about African American history, but out of all my teachers, I say he's probably the only one that's actually tried their best to let people know how we were treated back then.
I think AllttA, but I haven't been to a lot of schools. The other schools I've been to in Pittsburgh haven't really, did much for African American history in general. Like, they'll leave stuff out during, like Black History Month. Like, they'll mention, like, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, but not like really the other figures that also had a big role in, helping fight against racism, because racism is still a thing. Like, it's not gone. I think AllttA is doing an amazing job, but I don't think so about the others or the district as a whole.
I say they're doing a good part, but I wouldn't say that they're doing everything that they can. We have classes, but not that many. It's not enough. Yeah, it's just like 2 classes, African American history, then there's African American literature, but that's pretty much it. It's just not that great of a system, but it could definitely be improved, especially with all the black figures that we talk about during Black History Month. It's a good bit of repetition of the same people, and we could definitely improve on that.
It could but we could always do more. There's not enough teachers or students interested in learning or teaching about it. That's why I want to become history teacher so we can get that fixed and changed.
I feel the Pittsburgh police does a better job than other cities, but they still don't do a good enough job.
I wouldn't say better. Me and my dad definitely have gotten pulled over by the police a lot of times. just because simply he was a black man just driving with a nice car. I mean, of course, when they pulled us over, they were pretty nice. They weren't that aggressive, but you could definitely tell in their tone of voice that there weren't that really good intentions once they pulled us over. But they definitely are very quiet when they do it. So I wouldn't say better than other cities, but they definitely do a good job by keeping it peaceful.
It's a little bit of both, yes and no. It honestly does depend by state by case-by-case situations.
I don't think police in general handle situations good. I think police in the training, if you know when you're going into a certain job, if you know what you're ready for, that's what the training's for. So the excuse of, oh, I thought he had a phone in his hand, or I thought it was a gun, but it's a hairbrush, it don't click because you knew what you signed up for. You weren't signed up to be a killer. You were signed up to be a protector, and it ain't adding up.
No. There's always that one cop that, that has sense, and that's actually able to do their job without getting scared because it's somebody that fits a classification or fits a stereotype. But there's definitely not a difference between Pittsburgh cops and other cops.
I haven't had any experience with the police yet, but I have seen stories that's happened here that are very horrible. I don't think they're doing a good job.
Not really, but my concerns are more like, not like I'm going to get like mugged or like shot or anything. It's like I'm just scared of getting kidnapped because like human trafficking has been rampant. So that's my only fear when going outside, really.
Yes, I live in Lincoln Place, which is an area where it's pretty much full of teachers and retired cops. It's why everyone who wants to retire goes to live.
Well, that is a hit or miss. In my neighborhood, I live in Wilkinsburg, so there's definitely a lot of like shootings, and there's definitely like a lot of like criminal activity. There's some people even from jail that live in our neighborhood, so sometimes it gets a little scary, but I feel like it's not that bad.
I don't like I feel safe in my house, but when I'm outside, I'm definitely on alert and stuff. Yeah. And like when I see like a police car, I'll be like, I'll take my hands out of my pockets, I'll try to look presentable or like non-threatening or like not suspicious because I've been stereotyped a lot. So yeah, I try to just come off as normal as possible.
I would say so, yeah, because it is like a neighborhood out of the way more, and it's not like in a dense city. We don't really have all that much foot traffic besides the zoo. That's really it.
And you said you're from Morningside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't feel unsafe. Like, I've been there since I was a child. Like, I know from an outsider looking in, you see the news, and it's like, oh, yeah, they shot. But, like, gunshots is like a lullaby, sad truth. But it's nothing too crazy. Like, I ain't never been shot at. I've been near a gunshot, but ain't nobody shooting me. I'm not. So I do feel safe everywhere I go. I don't got a reason to feel unsafe. Like, I'm protected. God got me. You know what I mean? I'll put these back on. Go ahead.
Nah. But I ain't scared though. Like, it's just like, it's nowhere safe for real because anything can happen anywhere. But do I feel safe in my neighborhood? I feel indifferent. Like, I'm gonna walk down the street at any time. It don't matter. I'm not gonna say I ain't gonna be on alert though.
Not necessarily. People, yeah, they keep like shooting people. I'm not trying to get shot.
See, I lived in a lot of neighborhoods growing up as a kid, so I definitely lived in like 3 or 4 at most. But gentrification is definitely changing a lot of things that were monumental to our neighborhoods, and they're kind of taking it away, and I don't like that pretty much. Like, it's kind of taking away the flavor of the neighborhood. It's just messing it up. But, I mean, gentrification, that's definitely going on in a lot of places. But it doesn't have to happen everywhere.
It hasn't really affected my neighborhood specifically, but it's affected other neighborhoods in Pittsburgh.
It hasn't been that bad, but they did tear down an old school and made it into this huge nursing home, like old person's home type thing.
I don't know. It's like a weird uncomfortability, but you have to be okay with it because it's a change. You just don't know if it's good or not yet. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know if gentrification is going to influence the community in a positive or negative way. But being a person who's lived in poverty and noticed like gentrification coming in, it's not helping the poor. It's just making the poor more poor and the rich there. Like, yeah.
Bro, I got off the bus one day. All I seen was white people. I don't mean to sound like that, but bro, I was scared. I thought they was trying to, you know what I mean? I was confused because this is a certain but this is a certain area where you don't see a lot of white people, and I seen like only white people. Like, it looked like I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, and it was my neighborhood. So yeah, it's affected it a lot. Like, it's definitely different. It's a change. Stuff is going up. They're trying to get us up out of here.
We can helping like new family. They come to America and like they don't know how to going to like shopping or doing or using car like that. We can help them.
I think it just starts with awareness, because a lot of people just aren't aware and they just don't think about politics stuff because they assume it doesn't affect them that much, but it does. And I think people need to be more aware that these problems aren't just like politic problems. These are real problems that are going to affect you, and you really should care about that stuff.
I think, like talking out, making people aware, sharing stuff and all that stuff, it's really good. But I think we also need to start talking to politics, or, like taking stuff like up a notch, like getting it actually in rooms and actually talking about this stuff, because there's a lot of things that we could do to help out around here. And right now it's like just talking, it's just yelling and all that stuff, and we need to just get it in a room and get it on a piece of paper and stuff. Yeah,
So
that's
action.
what I think.
Yeah.
Action, yeah.
Instead of words. I got you.
I think we just need to stay involved. We just need to patrol our neighborhoods when we need to, do our own patrolling and not have the police do it, because, that can go in different ways, any possible way. Just checking up on our kids, making sure they have everything, or our neighbors, or, just checking up on people and just seeing what's going on in their life, or just looking out for people, pretty much. I feel like that's just the best we can do. We just got to look out for each other.
I mean, I feel like if you did, nothing would still get done. It's the people in power who will stay there, who just racist old white guys.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We could express our voices more, we can exercise our rights to protest and our freedom of speech.
I think we just need to stand out more, just realize what's happening and stand up for it. You can't just let it play off in the background, stop it at its roots.
Yeah. I feel like, all right. There's not much you can do without having to do the most, which a lot of people that want to help don't have. They don't have the most to do the most. So I feel like in your neighborhood, you should just know your neighbor. I mean, just know your neighbor, know who you surround yourself with, so it's easier for you to be comfortable with your kids playing outside, with you going outside at any certain time, knowing that there's somebody that's watching or somebody that knows you, so you're not going anywhere at any time without, some.
I don't know. I feel like when history goes this deep and people fight so hard for change or something to be different, you're not always going to have people on one side of the fence. Like, there's also always going to be contradicting arguments and people who just don't want that to be a thing within the black and white community and etc. Like, you can't expect change, and I've stopped expecting change. You know what I mean? I'm just here right now. But I think if this is something that everybody wanted, it could be possible. But the harsh truth about it is, it's not. Because not everybody wants it.
And there we have it. That is the People Respond 3 2022 edition, whatever you want to call it. Some fantastic responses. Thank you to everybody that participated. This was by far the best People Respond we've had so far, and hopefully we can continue with this. But that's it for me for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button down below. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. We are so close. Yeah, follow me on all my socials. You guys know they're always down below. And I will go ahead and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.